Did Maison Margiela just drop a must-have summer fragrance? Let's find out and review Never Ending Summer. Hey, what's good guys? Hunter here and welcome back to the channel where I upload weekly fragrance content. So you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future videos like this one. And be sure to follow me over on my Instagram page for some more personal content and behind the scenes stuff as well. But today in my hands is the newest fragrance from the house of Maison Margiela, which I'm a big fan of this line. I just love the aesthetic. I love what they're going for, and they just capture memories in a bottle perfectly. By the Fireplace is probably my favorite one, and in my opinion, is a must-have for the winter time that literally smells like you're wearing a personal fireplace and keeps you warm, which is crazy. But we'll find out if this is a must-have for the summertime from them. And this one's supposed to capture the memory of being on the Amalfi Coast in 2022. So we'll see if he'll do that, even though I've never been to Italy before. But hey, despite never going to Italy before, maybe this fragrance, when I apply it, will transport me there. That would be great. I mean, I'm suited up for Italy right now in my Hawaiian shirt. I also, of course, want to shout out Maison Margiela for sending this one over for a review. Of course, that's not going to change my opinions on the fragrance. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I've been a big fan of Maison Margiela and have bought a few fragrances from them in the past. But I'll always keep it completely honest with you guys, no matter what. Now, let's go with some information. So, Never Ending Summer was, of course, launched in 2025. This fragrance is hot off the shelves. It just dropped at the time of this recording. So it's a brand spanking new. For the retail price on the two sizes this one comes in, you can get the 30 ml for $85 or you can get the 100 ml like I have in hand for $165. Which truthfully, between me and you, I do think maybe a little bit overpriced for the kind of fragrance this is. And I do remember when I first started buying Maison Margielas, they were like around $130 for the 100 ml. But hey, that's just not them. Every fragrance brand is going up in price like crazy. This is becoming a very expensive hobby. For the concentration, this is an eau de toilette, which is very unfortunate, especially at that price tag you are paying for. I would have wished they would have at least done an eau de parfum. And personally, I do think EDT should almost go extinct, kind of like eau de colognes have. Back years and years ago, there was a ton of eau de colognes. Now you don't even see them. However, I do know when it comes to citrus fragrances, eau de toilettes usually smell much brighter, much more effervescent, much zestier. So I can see why they did that. However, every single fragrance in this line is an EDT, even the darker stuff like By the Fireplace and Jazz Club. So, I mean, not the biggest fan of EDTs personally. And we'll also talk about why that is later on in the video, so you'll find out. The perfumer behind the brand new Never Ending Summer is Christopher Renaud, which is a master perfumer. He has a huge resume of so many good fragrances. So you know a good perfumer went behind this new fragrance. Now, with all the information out of the way, let's get the packaging and presentation you get with Never Ending Summer now. All right, take a look at the box, which by the way, I love the aesthetic of the replica line, guys. It's just so nice. You of course have that picture. I believe that's the Amalfi Coast with like this orange tree right there. Never Ending Summer, Amalfi Coast 2022, refreshing bright orange is the description. Remember, in a fragrance, of course. Like I said, this is an eau de toilette 100 ml. On the bottom is where you'll find your batch code to authenticate your product to see when it was produced, as well as a barcode on the back as far as some ingredients too. And then on top, you just have that Maison Margiela kind of logo right there. So all in all, beautiful box presentation. Let's look at the bottle now. So take a look at the bottle. If you've seen one of these, you have seen them all. It does have this nice kind of fabric layout on the front, which I love. It kind of feels like cotton. Then on the bottom, you do have your sticker with some information as well as a batch code. Nothing on the back, but look at that juice color. It's this beautiful kind of darker orange colored juice, which I think looks nice. Nothing on top of the cap, or there is no cap, nothing on the atomizer. We also have this kind of string around the atomizer collar, which I do think looks very nice. In the opening, you have bitter orange, Aperol spritz, and pepper. In the mid, you have Earl Grey tea, cardamom, and nutmeg. And in the base, you have vetiver, cedarwood, patchouli, vanilla, pursuit balsam, and cashmere. And this will be classified as a citrus fresh. And I don't know about you, but that note breakdown sounds like it's gonna be a hit for the summertime. So let's spray this and test out this atomizer. Always been a disappointing atomizer with the replica line, unfortunately, but hey, that's not the biggest deal. So let's go ahead and remind myself of summer in a bottle with this one. Okay, Maison Margiela, I see what you're doing with this one because, whoa, this has one of the best kind of tart, bitter orange openings I've ever tried in my life, guys. It's so natural, so photorealistic, and just so summery. This is literally summer in a bottle, man. Now, alongside the bitter orange, you are gonna get that Aperol Spritz, which is an Italian cocktail, which honestly I've never tried before, but I've heard they are fantastic. But it's also this kind of bitter orange cocktail as well, and just very unique. I've never seen that note used in any other fragrance besides this one. But it's also gonna, of course, give you the bitter orange. It's gonna give you that kind of booziness. It's very sparkling, just so like relaxed and chilling vibe, like drinking an Aperol Spritz on the Italian coast, kind of vibing out, chilling on vacation. That's the vibe this gives off, and it's excellent. So if you're somebody that loves Aperol Spritz, you drink them a lot, or you had them before, you're gonna absolutely love the Never Ending Summer. This has got to be one of the most unique summer fragrances I've tried, especially as of lately. And it's kind of disappointing because I did make my top 10 designer summer list of 2025 already before getting a bottle of this, but you already know this would have absolutely made that list without a doubt. Now, alongside the bitter orange and the Aperol Spritz, you are going to get a pinch of this black pepper in the background, just a little bit spicy slightly. Now, if you are familiar with something like Mandarina di Amalfi from Tom Ford, it is going to be in the same realm as that as far as the way it comes across, guys. It's being so citrusy, bitter, bright, juicy, and just summery in a bottle. Absolute banger from Maison Margiela, man. They barely ever disappoint, to be honest. Yeah, this fragrance just smells like vacation in a bottle. How I would imagine Italy to smell like when I'm on vacation there. Now, as you start making your way into the mid is where things start to change slightly. You are going to start getting this kind of herbaceous Earl tea note. Just a very kind of relaxing, calming, chilled note, in my opinion, guys, alongside some more spices as well, such as that kind of seductive, alluring cardamom and that nutmeg combination. It actually is, for being a summer fragrance, it does have some spicy nuances thrown in there, but I don't think it overplays how bright this fragrance is, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't categorize this as a spicy fragrance by any means. It just kind of complements the bright notes in Never Ending Summer. Now in the base, you are just gonna get this kind of clean, slightly earthy vetiver note and this somewhat earthy patchouli, rounded off with this kind of woody cedarwood base. Just an absolute mood setting fragrance, guys. And I will say, if you are looking for that one summer hit, especially maybe like a 2025 release for summertime, absolutely check out Never Ending Summer. And this one is going to be easily available like at Sephora, etc. It honestly is hard to get much better than this fragrance. So just to break it down for you one more time quickly, in the opening you are going to get this very fruity, bitter orange note, so tart, mixed together with that Aperol Spritz, which is going to give this kind of sparkling, boozy orange note as well, with that kind of black pepper in the background. And then it starts to dry it down to this kind of calming Earl Grey tea with some spices. And then in the base, you're left with this kind of earthy, clean vetiver, clean patchouli, and that woody base. And like I said, literally a mood setting fragrance that's gonna transport you to the Italian coast. For the best seasons to rock Never Ending Summer, can you guys guess what season this is gonna be best for? Of course, spring and summer, primarily, more so even the summertime, which is crazy because there's not many fragrances that are like just only targeted towards the winter, only targeted towards the summer, etc., etc. However, though, with Maison Margiela, By the Fireplace is primarily a winter only fragrance for me. I only wear that in the winter. This one, I probably will only wear it during the summertime, like strictly. Even though, of course, being this kind of scent profile, you can also wear it in the spring when it's warm, but you know what I mean. It's gonna be that summer fragrance for me, guys. I'm not really gonna reach for this for like this fall and winter. There's nothing that gives me like colder weather vibes at all. This is primarily strictly a warm, hot, sunny day fragrance. For occasion, this is primarily gonna be a casual outing fragrance for me. If I'm just kind of wearing a nice kind of white, crisp, sharp white t-shirt in the summertime, if I'm wearing a shirt like this, just kind of chilling, maybe like going out to dinner, going out to a bar, going out to the pool, going out on the beach, yeah, I'm gonna be reaching for this one a ton. There's no doubt about it. This will have a nice dent in it after the summer. Doesn't mean since I'm only wearing this one as a casual fragrance, you can't dress it up, because you definitely can. It's very unique. It's a little bit sophisticated and will stand out if you're wearing like a suit or dressing up like a button up, etc. It's not a fragrance I'm gonna wear to work, going to a wedding, or anything like that. Primarily a casual summer fragrance for me in my collection. For gender, this one is absolutely a unisex fragrance through and through. There's nothing that makes it leaning masculine, nothing that makes it leaning feminine. Also, I believe Maison Margiela targeted all of their fragrances as unisex, which is funny because back in the day, they would actually write like male fragrance, female fragrance, unisex on the bottles, but they kind of done away with that, which I think is definitely a smart marketing tactic on their part. I know a lot of times when dudes see a fragrance that says women's fragrance, they won't even smell it. Also vice versa with ladies as well. So making it all unisex, I think it's gonna sell more bottles, no doubt about it. But even the smell itself is a very much unisex fragrance. So ladies, men, if you're watching this, you wanna check this out, you want something that gives you that kind of vacation, Italian, getaway vibe in a bottle, you have to check out Never Ending Summer because it captures that down to a T. So for age groups, this part is very much versatile. I can see like somebody early 20s rocking this, and even like late 30s, 40s and up rocking it as well. Maybe not so much like a teenager fragrance, just because it does have that kind of Aperol spritz in here, making it a little boozy, but still early 20s primarily, man, is gonna rock this the best. But if you are a little bit older, I think you'll enjoy it as well. And mind you though, fragrances don't have an age group. I'm just trying to paint you guys the best picture in my reviews. So take that with what you will. Still very much versatile with the age. So wrapping the review off, talking on the performance you're gonna expect to get from a Never Ending Summer. So it's honestly what I expected. I'm not even let down, guys, to be honest, because I knew this was gonna happen. I knew it would perform like this, and I was right. Because unfortunately, I am gonna get below average performance from a Never Ending Summer, which I can't really complain about just because of how bright, citrusy this fragrance smells. And being an eau de toilette, you kind of expect that. However, I got upwards of that 6-hour mark of longevity on skin. And the 6-hour mark is pushing it. That's like the max you'll probably get on you. So it is gonna be a fragrance you will probably want to reapply like midway, halfway through the day, etc. Because yeah, this fragrance is not gonna last you all day. I promise you that. And that is a sad thing because this fragrance, as far as the smell goes, is just so outstanding. And when it comes to the projection, I got about like intimate, soft projection from it as well. It's not gonna be a loud room filling beast mode projector, but guys, I think that's the point Maison Margiela is going for. This isn't a fragrance that's supposed to like scream off of the skin. It's supposed to kind of like float off your skin, kind of like waves coming in, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it does have this nice kind of soft, subtle projection about it, but it's not gonna overtake everybody around you. Even though it does come across subtle and soft as far as the projection comes, people will still be able to detect it if they're kind of in your scent bubble. Still, despite the lackluster performance, I honestly do still think this is bottle worthy. This is just a fragrance that isn't trying too hard, coming across too hard or anything like that. Just the kind of fragrance that makes you smell like you're just living your best life. I do wish, like I said, this wasn't eau de parfum, but hey, if it wasn't EVP, it probably wouldn't come across as bright and vibrant as it does. But that's gonna do it for my review of the brand new Maison Margiela Never Ending Summer. Let me know down below if you guys have tried this one. What do you think about it? If you guys picked up a bottle of it. And also, what is your favorite Maison Margiela that maybe you want to see me review down the line? I believe I have reviewed By the Fireplace, a beach walk. I also do have Sailing Day, which I'm going to have to review very soon, which is also a great summer fragrance. But we'll discuss that in the comments. But guys, besides that, leave a like on the video, subscribe below if you haven't already, because bro, what are you doing? And I'll see all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.